Theosophical Society. Society was founded in 1875 and has three avowed objects: to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color; further, the comparative study of religion, philosophy, and science; and investigate the unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in humanity. Our speaker this evening is Joe Miller, and the title of his talk is Time and Timelessness. I'd like to mention a couple of things. First of all, we're very honored to have Marshita Vera here with us this evening. And Gwen will give us a little meditation music. Thank you.
Thou greater part of me, I thought I could not bear the pain of separation from thee, but now I see only thee in multiplicity, for thou art everywhere. It is enough to know to be.
Yeah! I may be trying to do something a little different tonight because the world is in a pretty rough place. Is that tone a bit?
I thought he'd give an old talk tonight.
Fine thing.
Well, you said you were going to try something different.
I know, but you don't have machines barking at me like that. We all realize that it is a very tough time. And so therefore, as long as we can't depend on our wealth, something I've never had, or you're good if, you don't know when you got anything left or whether you're going to be flat on you are. So you got to be careful. So we should take our heads and hearts and beings and look it over. What are you doing with what you have? What you'd like to do with it? What you haven't done? And get to work on it. Huh? We have to do it for us. We've got no one else that we can depend upon to do it for us. Therefore, I also want to talk about something else of life itself. I don't care what your religion may be, but the one thing happens is this. You have to find the answers within you. Nobody else. Nobody, you got to do it for you. And you say, well, after all, if I did it for me and I'm doing it very good, does anybody know about it? Yeah. People will know if you're getting it. And this is a particular time in the world that we have to depend upon ourselves, upon the spiritual part of ourselves that most people, well, they talked in a hushed voice about it. You can't mention that. But it's in there. We all got that life, haven't we? Each and every one of us. We all breathe, don't we? We haven't found anybody yet that can get by without breathing. So maybe we have to work it out for ourselves. Think it over. What you want to do or what you don't want to do. And be at ease in it. Find your reality in infinity. That's where you have to find it. We've all got it there. We wouldn't even be an incarnation if we didn't have something that makes us fit to walk and live in this world. So this is something that normally, well, think of all of those people that had city jobs. And all of a sudden they haven't got any jobs. People that have worked for more than 50, 60, or 70 years. And then all of a sudden, there they are. You got to rely on something within you. Nobody else can do it for you. They can give you a lot of answers. But to very experience yourself, you must have it within you. So, that's what I'm talking about. And try it. Try it this way. Sit down, quiet with yourself. No hang up at a particular thing that's normally bothering your mind. And see where you are. How do you feel about it? And realize that you can tune in to that greater party of your being within yourself. And someday you have learned all the lessons. You will be one of those famous adepts that helps other people, huh? Of course, there's a lot of you that need a kick in the butt. I mean, but do you want to do it? Oh, well, say, well, I can take care of that when I get to be an old fossil like you, Miller. You know, even when you get to be an old fossil, you got those ideas and thoughts in your mind. Are you doing something with it? And if you don't, you're an idiot. Because you, each one, individually, must come to that reality yourself. Nobody can act as an intermediate to bring you in touch with that reality within you. Don't take much time to do it. But you know, if you was in business and other business other than what you're living, you would keep an eye on proper food, place to sleep, what you want to activate yourself into. And no particular religion has got the okay that that's the one and only one there is. We're all part of that religion, part of that infinity within us, here and now. Think about it. Because nobody but you can come to the answer of that. There is that peace within everybody. if they touch it, it's wonderful. If they haven't touched, they say, well, I don't know about that. I hear that there are wonderful things and so forth. But what the hell are you doing about it? You're here now. This. Find out about it. Start living toward it. You don't have to knock your knees to feather or bow down and scrape on the ground. Stand up on your feet. Sure, every religion is good in its own way. But I'm taking the liberty of trying to step you across another point. That most religionists don't, because they'll put it in the name of some great teacher that has lived before. And there were, and there have been, and there is great teachers. But we're all Americans. So damn it, you got to do it for yourself. Start working about it. If you don't, you know, you can be a chump. And after 10 or 20 years say, well, I thought that would be the right way. I've been praying all this stuff. Yeah, but what the hell have you been doing with? What have you been thinking about? How have you brought it into the living of the individual himself? You know, I looked at life quite differently earlier in my years. And I think I've been a customer of any of the ruling religions. When I found theosophy, I began to realize there's no religion higher than truth. And there's no power greater than love. And that love spoken of is universal love, which affects all loves. But there is that higher thing you can come to in your thinking and your dreaming. Or you feel into it and you realize that you're part of that one reality right there. Feel into it and realize that you are also a member of that. So each time that you slip through your mind so that you can get to that clear place, each time you're doing it, you're learning something about it. Each time. The reason I'm talking one way tonight is because I'm celebrating my birthday today, day after tomorrow. I mean tomorrow.
Can we sing it now, or do we have to wait till the end of the time?
Oh, I don't give a damn. You're on your own.
Should we sing it happy
Speak
birthday?
up.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe. Happy birthday to you.
Read off the Taz before I can get his mouth open.
Thank you.
Too bad there aren't too many people.
Yeah, I know. A few kids here tonight. Well, now this brings it to another point that I mentioned. I said there's no religion higher than truth, but there's no power greater than love. When you found that, you've latched onto the big one. Believe it or not, that is the wonder power in the world. Love. Each one of the great teachers pointed that. So, why shouldn't we have the same advantage? It's a matter of, if you don't use it, it's there for you. But if you don't use it, it's your own damn fault, isn't it? When you love the world, well, the world loves you. All my life, I've been trying to be a good guy. You know? Trying to give advice here and there and help this one and that one. You know, I was very stingy about that because I realized there's the greatest profit in that, right there. Love. Be it. Be it, feel it, and live it. All of the answers that you sooner or later will wish to come to in your mind and consciousness, they're all right in there. There's no law against it. There's no law that says, well, you know, you can't love people. It's against the law. We don't have that law. But the great law of all of them was love. Love of everyone. And it's wonderful. There's nothing else like it. Of course, there are people, if they're running their life by greed, they don't have much of a chance to ever touch love, real love. Because they're hungry. All they want to do is take again away from the other fellow. Add to his own pile of marbles. Feel that other love. Even if you've never tried it before, do it. Quiet. You don't have to be out somewhere. You don't have to put up a great banner, or you don't have to shout it from the housetops. Because if you're living it, people will feel it. And all you have to do is be. Now that's not complicated. So this old fossil talking to you now is trying to say to you that which he considers the most wonderful thing in his life, and that's love of everyone, love of humanity, love of everything. It hasn't worked too bad for me. At least I'm still here. And I get that double S after my name. Now I feel pretty good. 88, I like that. What do you think about this love proposition I'm talking about? What do you know about it? What do you think about it? Got any opinion? Any remarks you want to make about it?
I'd like to tell the story. A friend of mine traveled quite some distance to be with her ancient mother, who was not comatose, but all she did was stay in bed. And their meeting, they stayed there several days, and no word, nothing, no response, no eye contact, nothing. And they were getting ready to leave, to get to go many, many miles back home. And my friend just reached over and she kissed her mother and she said, "I love you, Mom." And her mother turned her face and said, "That's all there is, daughter." That's just a story that I'll never forget.
It's that way. It's a gentle thing. And usually it's something that you learn about privately. That you can't brag about it, or you can't sell chewing gum or shoes or something else, you know. This within your own hearts. That's the thing to live. All right. Now, what are you laughing about?
Joy.
Huh?
Joy.
Joy. Thank you very much. I got a belly laugh for you then, that's right. So, in all the years, I usually go around a different way to explain things, and I've been explaining the same damn thing ever since I came here. And I'll continue to be trying to explain it when I get bumped off. Somebody here, tell me of some experience, if you have, of love, pure love, beyond the point of this. Any wish to? That's quite natural, because naturally you're going to be silent about your own business. Well, one thing makes me very glad that I do. You can think about it and consider it in yourselves without talking about it, because it is a silent something. And that's the wonderful, wonderful thing, that everyone who has found real love lives in it. Now, anybody want to ask me any questions? Gee, it's a very silent group, huh?
I have a question, Joe.
Surely.
Is it possible to talk about how to be love?
Say that again.
Is it possible, and if it is, I want you to talk about how to be love?
That's a very complicated question.
That's why I asked it of you.
Yes. Well, in other words, if somebody asks a Ramana Maharshi, how do you be? Well, if you've got to the point that you're doing it and being it, you just know you are, and that's it. I think. You can't catalog it and say that it's exactly this or exactly that. But this, you are. The one that was asking me that question.
Yes, Joe.
Do you meditate?
Yes, I do.
While you were meditating, did you ever come to a point where the meditation stopped and you felt your consciousness within that greater life outside of what you are?
Yes.
That's where it's at, baby. Just keep on knowing where that's at, and you're quite cooking with a big burner. You're doing all right.
Thanks, Joe.
just that simple. This guy keeps aiming this thing. I don't know how damn long he's gonna keep on thinking of his picture. He wanted to take this guy's head off when he first saw him stand. Yeah,
I have a question.
sure.
After you die, will you still be accessible to your friends to help them on the path?
Certain.
God must be a lawyer.
Certainly you will, but not in the particular way that you figure that the mortal mind might look at it that way. But if you have those that want to help you, they can, of course. It's wonderful. Now when it happens, you can't say, well, now I had help from so and so and so. It's so. You can't say it because nobody will listen for you. Nobody will say you're nuts. But it is true. I imagine that when we get here in the lodge room, I imagine there's a number of former members are floating around and all that stuff, but you know, I'm not psychic. So therefore, not being physic, I don't know for sure. But we have known people that say they see them floating around. But of course, if I find myself thinking I'm seeing things floating around, I'll get suspicious as hell to me. I would wonder what. But it's a feel. It's a sense, a higher sense, higher vibration. And you sense it. Yes, friends do help. But probably they do it in exactly the way that some people think they should do it. They, you know, have we'll say a batch of drums playing something out. Subtly, quietly. If it's yours and you have it coming, it will come. Next. Stick your neck out. I won't hurt you. Little bashful. Oh, well, that's naturally. Gwen and I think we've been married just a short time because we're newlyweds, you know. But as far as experience is concerned, how many years has it been now, Gwen?
It'll be 34 years on the 4th of March.
And I, of course, have been married before. I'm not an amateur. I'm not telling you about something you don't know, I don't know about. I've been married 3 times. But what? She says 4. But you know, up to that time, I always tried to marry someone so much younger than me that I'd have a little marriage, you know? I wanted that. I wanted those young, useful ones. Well, I decided I'd go around different parts of the country and meet people. And usually, after I got through one marriage, I moved somewhere else because I realized I was a flop. It didn't work. So after so many years of traveling, I come out here to California and I met Gwen. And after I met Gwen, that was all over. And we're happy. And for people that have been in so many groups that I've been in and are still married after 30-some years, and that shows something, doesn't it?
Sure does.
It shows that I take marriage seriously. Oh, I see. He's taking care of. Now, as long as you folks are all sitting in here, would all of you like to have your pictures taken? I got the guy with this picture machine, if you want to. Unless you figure, keep your face covered so they won't know who the hell you are. How can you keep on focusing this at the same place? And this is the same face. All right, I get it. Now look, Smiley. You got your laugh. What do you think about what I've had to say?
I believe it is hitting the nail on the head, right on the dot. If I could do it over again and try to wake up in a different way, I would take those few little formulas you gave and make it far better life than I've had until I met you.
It's not your life.
Thank you. Who else said them there? Well, I hope you're right. I hope I haven't missed. You know, it'd be a hell of a loss for me if I spent as much time as I've spent in my life giving them a wrong picture. But I haven't. I tell them the truth.
That's what's so difficult at first, is to realize that
That
someone
there's
is
somebody-
actually telling the truth.
All right.
You know, that's difficult to grasp. But it's there, it's true.
Well, if you took the wrong turn, you're gonna have a lot of company.
Yes, I won't be alone. Allah, Bismillah, say that God is one, living eternal, and beside Him none. Thank you. So here I am, sitting in a Theosophical Society, singing an Arab song of worship, and there's this many people answering me. How did that happen? How come all you people learned that song? Why did you learn it? And what did you expect out of it? I know you are in tune with it, the feel of it, the reality. You know, you can, as I said in the picture over 20 years ago, you can get, what is it?
More stinking from thinking
And from drinking, but the feel is for real.
Right! And that's what I'm always talking about. And I'm so very honored that this many of you folks come back here and say hello to the old man. And let's hope you get something for what I've been trying to help you with. I love people. I love all of you. I love everybody. That's my religion, really. And that's the way I live. And I don't regret it in the least. I'm going to keep on living that way. You know, if I had a place on the floor cleared, there's a girl over here that I'd be having do a dance for you, but there ain't space to it. Well, dear lady, I am nutty, aren't I? I'm talking to
Which
you.
lady? Yeah, which lady? I think he's talking to Christina Vera.
No. Most inspiring thing that you do, Joe, is to be there when the person is at the bottom. Not telephoned, not called upon in any way, verbally or outwardly, but you know it, you pick it up, and you communicate. That shows the beam is one, and that is love. Because true love knows when anything is off on any individual. And you answer it right away. You can't help but answering it. You've always done that for me, and it's for real. It's very
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
real. And I thank you from my heart for being there.
Give her another hand. And now, let's give her 3 yah-for-dah.
Yeah!
But I want to say to all of you here that when you say Yah-Fatah to someone who has a real empty spot in their heart, you have no idea what it feels like to receive it. It fills something that can't be filled any other way. And I thank you. I found that so very true since I've returned to the Bay Area after 2 years of being away from you all. And to feel that love and sincerity and willingness to share and to give without any thought of reservation or hesitation. That can only come from a mind that in the first place is open, because a closed mind could never ever respond that quickly. And it's always that way. It's always at once and full-hearted, and it fills empty spots that can't be filled any other way. I thank you for doing that, because I'm still in the grieving process. But I also didn't want to interrupt your thought forms or anything that any of the younger ones might want to say. But I do want to say, in answer to people that have any doubt as to what it's like after you're not in the physical body anymore and you're in that spiritual body that evidently you've been building all of your lives, and now you have something to walk into when you leave the physical. That it was a surprise, really a surprise in my life. And most of you know that I've been a Sufi for 58 years. I don't know how many years I've been a Theosophist, but certainly I was reading Theosophy and the secret doctrine before I was initiated as a Sufi, and that was when I was 22, so it's a good many years that I've been introduced to that vast well of knowledge. And I want you to know that when my husband passed on, I had fully prepared him and myself, and both of us really knew the power of the Spirit and knew and recognized the spirit body that we had beyond the physical body. But I had no idea that the communication would continue so clearly. You know, at the latter part of his life, because the squamous cell cancer had destroyed the voice box, and what it didn't do, the radiation did do, we had very little speech, but we had a great deal of mental telepathy. And I would be in the kitchen 2 rooms away, preparing soup or cleaning up or doing the things that I had to do out there away from him. And he had a Swiss cowbell that he could ring. But he seldom used that Swiss cowbell. He would just call me on the inner. And I would hear it like a bell. And I would immediately say, I'll be there in a second, and I would go as quickly as I could to see what he needed. And the bell would be out of reach. He hadn't rung that bell at all, but I was sure that he did. And since he's passed on, many times I have that call, and he will communicate to me, just as he did then, through thought form, and without any physical body to work for him at all. And one day he came to me very unexpectedly. I wasn't thinking about him or anything, and he said, I have a gift for you. And I said, oh great, what is it? I said, speaking back to the communicator, and he said, oh, you're going to see, you'll know tonight. And I thought, well, that's nice, and just dismissed it, went on with what I was doing, didn't think any more about it. Well, that night was the first night that I had gone to bed since I was 22 years old and broke my spine, that I did not have spinal pain. And I said in my mind, Jim, was this your gift to me, that this spine would stop hurting? And he said, you've got it. And it's worked, and it's still working.
That's beautiful.
And that's a very wonderful affirmation of the power that one has after one gives up a physical body, and how much one has in the spirit body when you have consciously built a spiritual body, and not otherwise, but when you've really worked at it, you've meditated and you've prayed and you've attuned to more than yourself and more than another person, when you can say that you have loved beyond people you like. It's easy to love someone that you really like, and it's very difficult to love people that are not lovable because they're doing things that are destructive to the earth or other people, or not always to you, but you observe it and you turn away from it. If you're a good person, you don't want to see it, you don't want to accept it. But you find in the long run that love is the caring and sharing. You don't have to connect with the person in the physical, but you have to care, and you have to be willing to share. And when you can care and when you can share, it just keeps moving. It keeps developing, moving on and catching on until it's all one. It's all in the universe. And that's a great reward for the discipline that you put yourself under from early life, to keep that up, and it will pay off. And no one knows what day that will be. And usually after someone passes on, you'll say, oh yes, he knew, and you'll remember things that he or she said to you that should have given you the premonition that that individual knew that pretty soon he wouldn't be in the physical body, but in the spiritual body. But then it comes to you, and you really have the sincere realization, conviction within your own heart. And that's the important thing, because each man's truth is his own. You come by it by different paths, but eventually you end at that center. And when you do, it's yours for life. You never lose it. But it's got to be your truth, not someone else's.
Amen.
Amen. That's what I say.
Thank you so very much. My piano player back there?
Yes, we do.
Could I add just one thing to the sheet?
Go ahead and do it.
I've never mentioned before. I am a theosophist, but I think I was a spiritualist first. And through my communication, I'm reading, and it is that very law of attraction of love that brings your loved ones to you when you are in need. And this is the sense that is given to these people. But I have witnessed communication and seances for 20 years. And this is a fact that always applies. It is the law of attraction of love that brings you your guidance from your loved ones and your masters. And that communication is constant when you are in tune. They know your delights, they know your needs before you do. So I'm very happy to hear you paraphrase this experience. And I just have one more little one. The love in your heart wasn't meant there to stay. Love is not love until you give it away.
Amen. Thank you very much. Get back to that piano now. We got to get the hell out of here. We can't stay here all night.
Can't? No slumber party?
Oh, hurry up.
It is.
Oh, hurry the hell up.
For me to see.
Every day I make some mistakes. I fall on my face for a while. Sometimes I dream of losing my way. I feel out of place, out of style. Some troubled nights, I don't do my best to meet your caress with a smile. Please forget what I did wrong. You've gotta let me go on living. There's a time for hanging on to the past. For right now it's time